Hi.
Oh, wait,
Didn't see you there. Thank you for joining us once again for the first time ever. Episode 1 of Drunk Doctor Who Spinoffs.
Spinoffs.
K9 and Company.
This was the first
best friend
and only episode of K9 and Company.
One episode.
It was essentially the pilot. It was called The Girl's Best Friend, and unfortunately it.
After the director made it, he just sat back and went, "Ah, yeah, one and done. No topping that, right? Best episode ever. Greatest theme ever."
Yeah, no, it's one of the worst intros to a show ever.
K9.
K9.
I specifically love how they keep using the same shot of Sarah Jane Smith over
and over. She gets in the car, then she's driving the car, then goes back to her driving the car, and they go back to her drinking the wine. And
yeah, it's like they had half as much footage as they needed, so they just
yeah, for the song.
kept looping it.
Right, so K9 and Company, Girl's Best Friend, is included on The Invisible Enemy, which is the serial where we got K9. K9 Mark 1 stayed with Leela. Leela, remember on Gallifrey?
Yeah, Leela.
K9 Mark 2 was sent with Romana.
Mm-hmm.
And then K9 Mark 3, which is what he is sent to Sarah Jane. So all of Tom Baker's main female companions ended up with a K9.
That's funny. So, why is it that Sarah Jane Smith did not recognize K9?
Because K9 didn't show up till Leela, who was after Sarah Jane Smith.
So, Sarah Jane Smith had never seen a K9 before?
Correct.
The doctor just sent her one randomly?
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Alright, so...
This came out February 28th of 8?
Wait,
1908.
February? That's a 12th. It's December 28th, I think.
Dash 2 dash 28 dash 8.
No, it's 12. 12, 28, 1901.
2, 28, 1908.
You're smoking crack. Okay. No, this came out December 28th of 1981. And it is Christmas themed because it takes place during the solstice.
Mm-hmm.
Which is December 22nd, right before Christmas.
When did British people go from saying Merry Christmas to Epic Christmas? Or vice versa?
I think they mostly say Happy Christmas, but occasionally they say Merry Christmas.
Why don't Americans say Happy Christmas?
Well, because we say Merry Christmas.
But it's Happy everything else. It's like Happy Thanksgiving. You don't say Merry Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you do not say Merry Thanksgiving.
I don't wish you a Merry Thanksgiving and a Happy Christmas. Would that bother you?
No. What are you drinking today, Holden? This is Holden.
We'll find out. No, today I am Sophie Monk.
Sophie Monk.
Mm-hmm. You know who that is?
Is that the guy with the detective show?
No, not that Monk.
Oh.
Sophie Monk made popular movies such as... what was it? It was one of those American Pie comedies. Date movie, I think it was.
Okay, Sophie Monk, what are you drinking today?
This is a vodka Sprite.
And I am drinking...
Is that Crown Royal?
Crown Royal Apple.
Ooh.
Little 375.
I love green apple. Green apple, anything.
Alright, so
I
anyway.
would drink green apple bathwater.
Okay.
Just the green apple flavoring. Pour it on anything, right? It's like that Cajun seasoning. You ever use that?
Tony Chachere's?
Yeah, I put it in my top ramen. It's great.
There you go. Yeah, it's good in anything.
Yeah.
I like putting it in an omelet.
Exactly.
Alright, so just for a little bit of background, this was their first attempt at a spin-off for Doctor Who. Didn't take, unfortunately. And we would not get another proper spin-off. Oh, wow. I forgot to turn the light.
Oh, no.
We can get another proper spin-off until the new stuff with
technical difficulties.
Don't
panic.
Plug it in.
Does it fit in this one?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then, bing.
We should have a podcast where we just sit behind the camera the entire time.
Behind the camera.
Yeah, and they're just looking at empty couches while we're commentating.
Well, that or we've got like little hand puppets.
Nah, it's too much effort. It's too much effort. My hand would get tired.
Giggity. All right. So,
I guess.
So the next time we actually do an episode for the spin-offs will be when we reach the 21st century stuff. which is going
so
to
it's gonna
be
be
a
a
while.
while.
Yeah, this is going to be the only thing on that line on YouTube for years.
So it's just going to be a playlist for years with one episode in it.
Yeah.
One video playlist. Do we have playlists? Do we separate it out and, Heroes and Villains podcast?
Yeah, well, when you go to the YouTube page, it has it like that, where you've got...
it does it itself?
Recently uploaded, then Drunk Doctor Who, then Heroes and Villains.
Really?
Yeah, stuff like that.
It does that
Do you not watch
automatically?
the videos?
I do. I just go to all videos and most recent.
Okay.
What was wrong with me last week?
I don't know. What was wrong with you?
I don't know. I was especially argumentative. Which, I'm so agreeable. I don't know why I would...
Acerbic?
Acerbic?
Acerbaic?
No, I think it's more Eastern European, my ancestry.
Alright.
Arabic, Acerbic.
No. Anyway, so... this would not be repeated until we get to the new stuff when we have Torchwood, the Sarah Jane Adventures. Class, and there's an unofficial spin-off that will end up in Apocrypha, which is K9.
So K9 gets 2 shows.
Well,
And he's in Sarah Jane.
he's in the Sarah Jane Adventures. He's
Company.
in Doctor Who. He's got an unofficial spin-off and this one official spin-off.
So K9 has been in the most media of all Doctor Who characters.
Him and maybe Sarah Jane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think it only lasted for one episode?
Sorry, he.
Why do you think the pilot...
It was that horrible intro.
You think it's... The
So 80s, her hair and everything.
So
They're trying to do the kit card from Knight Rider.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Oh my god.
So they aired that, and then based off of the view count, they canceled. They decided not to.
Right, that's how pilots work when you do a show. You make a pilot and it gets picked up or not picked up. A lot of times they'll go, okay, we'll see how this does. If it's popular, we'll do a series.
So
which is how we got Doctor Who, the TV movie. That was supposed to be the pilot for...
Torchwood?
No. It was supposed to be pilot... No, in 96, they did Doctor Who, the TV movie. And it was supposed to be the pilot for a new series. But that's the one they aired against the last episode of Roseanne. So it bombed.
The TV movies?
Yeah,
The
TV
first
movie.
one?
The one. They only did one.
They did 2, the TV.
No, they did 2 movies, theatrical movies.
And then there's a third that's a TV movie?
That's an actual episode of Doctor Who.
Oh.
Yeah. 26 seasons, 63 to 89.
Uh-huh.
The TV movie in 96.
Mm-hmm.
And then the series start in 05.
So
And they're still going.
Okay. Alright. Check.
Okay. Anyway.
We're at 80s.
Very 80s. Okay, so Sarah Jane Smith, Elizabeth Sladen, shows up at her aunt's house. The aunt's vamoosed to America.
Would you designate this as a children's show or a family show?
You've got cultists trying to kill people.
There's a lot of
and there's a guy
action.
that dies.
And it's also very goofy.
Probably, I don't know.
It's very silly. There's a lot of comic relief.
If you go by the 60s standards, it'd be a children's show.
But by the
60s and 70s. Well, this is 81.
Yeah.
So remember, Doctor Who had switched to a family show in the late 70s.
But usually they do that by concession of letters written. Angry parents complaining. Do you think they would have started it, aired as a family show?
I don't know. I don't know how it was listed as a children's show or a family show. But I mean, it was aired right after Christmas, so.
Was it too violent for Australia?
No. None of that stuff is missing.
Censorship.
Alright. Anyway, so Sarah Jane Smith shows up at her aunt's house, which is basically a manor. Really nice. Love that home.
Mm-hmm.
And her aunt Lavinia, right? Her aunt has gone off. She's somewhat of a minor celebrity, and she's gone off to teach or lecture at some university in America.
She like wrote a book.
Yeah. And anyway, so
Very sudden to her departure, right?
yeah, she was supposed to go after Christmas, but she ended up going before Christmas because somebody else got sick and couldn't lecture, so she has to go replace him. Sarah Jane Smith shows up. Then apparently her cousin cousin once removed, because the young boy who also calls Lavinia Aunt Lavinia, but who's the aunt's ward. So maybe
What's a ward?
a ward is someone who is dependent upon someone else.
Do you have to go to the doctors to get those removed? Or?
No. So let's say you were 15, right?
So it's a dependent on your taxes?
Well, yeah, but it means
Wards
it's
are
a
tax
dependent. No,
deductible.
let's say you were 15 and your parents died,
Uh-huh.
and you had nobody else to live with, and you came and lived with me because I was close to your parents. You would be my ward, somebody I'm looking after who's not necessarily my progeny.
Would I still be tax deductible though?
Yeah,
So I'm a dependent.
yeah. Ward is a dependent
And you're a guardian?
under the circumstances. Yes.
The galaxies?
No, but I want to see that movie soon. Speaking of which,
You're talking about the new one that's coming out?
yeah.
You saw the first two?
Yeah. Gonna go see John Wick 4.
Did you watch the Thor movie with the Guardians in it?
No.
The most recent Thor movie?
No.
The Guardians.
Cancer Thor?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't good.
But I want to see John Wick 4. I want to see the D&D movie now. And
You didn't before? It has Chris Pine in it?
I didn't before because
sold from
because
the
the
teaser.
authors had stated that they emasculated the men in the movie. But I've heard the movie is, from so many people, that the movie is really good.
Is it out already?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I didn't know.
That I'm willing to see it and see if I like it regardless.
Okay.
So, I mean, okay, if a movie is really, really good, I can ignore the flaws. Like Armageddon. None of the physics in Armageddon work. But the movie's so awesome, I can ignore all that.
Kind of like Pacific Rim, right?
Never saw it.
Oh, okay.
Right. But if a movie's good enough, I can ignore problems or flaws. So I want to see that. I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
When's Guardians 3 coming out?
Really soon, actually.
What if we watch the D&D movie tonight? Is it for rent yet, or is it only in theaters?
No, it's in theaters.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
You might be able to pre-purchase it on Amazon. I don't know.
Oh, I'll pre-purchase that.
Yeah.
It's not even like streaming it from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's in theaters.
Oh, okay.
But like I
Who
said,
said
I've been told by a bunch of people it's good, so I'm like, all right.
Did we talk about the last movie night we had? What was that? Jason and the Argonauts? And what else did we watch?
We may have talked about it during our last Heroes and Villains. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, speaking of which, I put Nissa and Tegan up there on the list for Heroes and Villains. So we will at some point need to do Fourth Doctor, K9, Romana, which are all basically left the show. We literally see the last bit of K9 until the new stuff. And the Fourth Doctor we've done, or we're finished with, and Romana we're finished with. The Black Guardian we'll see again, but we've seen him. And then Adric, Nissa, and Tegan are all new companions our brand new companions.
Did you say K9 comes back in the main stuff during the revival?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So does Sarah Jane.
I did know that.
She shows up with K9.
Just for like a one-time special kind of thing?
It's called School Reunion.
Oh.
And she shows up and she bumps into the Doctor, and that's the 10th Doctor, and she has K9.
Oh, that's great.
And the Doctor fixes up K9 because he's worn down a bit. And that directly connects to this. The whole reason she has K9 is because of this episode of K9 and Company.
Adventures.
Yeah, but
Jade Smith and Company.
No, K9 and Company is this.
Adventures.
Stop that. Sarah Jane Adventures. But she shows up in the main show with K9, and then K9 helps her out in Sarah Jane Adventures. I don't. There's a big mashup between a bunch of the characters at the end of series 4, but I don't think K9's in that one.
So let's say they started a TV show, right? Hatter and Company, right?
Okay.
And I'm like your sidekick, right? You show up to like an old house that was left in your will. There's a crate, you break it open, and I'm in there stuffed with a bunch of packing peanuts, right?
Okay.
Hour-long special, they air the pilot. Not great reviews, so they decide not to air it, right?
Not to make it full series.
Right, yeah. You'd be kind of disappointed, but got an hour special on TV. That's pretty cool. And then they come to you. They say, "Hey, we're sorry that the show didn't make it, but we love the dynamic of you and your sidekick Holden, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Hatter and Adventures, Hatter and Company. So here's our new TV show, Holden Adventures, and you're gonna be a sidekick, right?"
Well, I mean,
and they air that.
To be fair, K9 is
And
not a person, so
That
he
one
can-
is successful. Would you feel slightly slighted?
probably. But yeah,
It's like, this didn't work because your star power isn't as good as this other person we could name the show after.
well, the show apparently Doctor Who was just not ready for spin-offs at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But spin-offs are a lot more prevalent this century. Rather than 20th century, the 21st century, everything has a ton of TV show spin-offs, like all the Marvel stuff, you know?
Cheers, Frasier.
Oh, well, okay. There were tons of spin-offs of TV shows back in the day.
Days,
Yeah.
Mork and Mindy.
Right, Happy Days had 4 or 5 spin-offs.
Scooby-Doo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh. No. But Happy Days spun off Mork and Mindy, spun off Laverne and Shirley.
Friends and Modern Family.
Modern Family's a spin-off of
How
Friends.
I Met Your Mother and Mork and Mindy.
I think you're smoking crack. Okay. But anyway, but no. TV shows would do that, but it's a lot more common nowadays. Anyway, so Russell T Davies, who was the showrunner at the beginning of the current revival of the show, and is now the showrunner again, loves spin-offs. And they've announced the first spin-off for the new stuff. Looks like it's Unit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get a Unit spin-off with Kate Lethbridge,
It's gonna be, that's
the daughter of the Brigadier.
yeah, and that's gonna be like a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of spinoff. It just focuses on the unit dealing with the supernatural,
But with the possibly the occasional appearance of the Doctor,
like Supernatural. Did you watch that show?
Supernatural?
Yeah.
No,
You didn't watch it?
no. I maybe seen like an episode or something.
So you're the main character, right? In your own life, from your perspective, first person perspective, you're
Right.
You're the main character of your movie, right? It's your autobiography. And the people that are filming the documentary about you, they go, "We love it, it's great.
Okay.
We want to do a spin-off based off of this. Do you have a recommendation of what in your life we could make a spin-off show about your life on? Who's your spin-off character?"
Right. Notice we're not terribly drunk. It was only a 50-minute episode. We didn't have like 4 episodes to go through or something.
It was an hour.
50 minutes.
It was an hour. We round up when drinking.
Okay. I have no idea.
Who's your spin-off character in your life?
I just said I have no idea.
There isn't someone that you talk to like once a year, every 6 months, and you think, I wonder what they're doing.
Maybe my wife.
Oh, well, she'd be in the main series.
Okay, my brother.
There you go. Yeah, New Orleans life. He lives in New Orleans?
He lives in Homa. Well, the brother I'm thinking of lives in Homa. I have another brother who lives in New Orleans and another brother who lives in Florida.
Where is Homa?
And another brother who lives in Atlanta.
Is Homa in Oklahoma?
No, Homa is in Louisiana.
Are there... Is that a predominantly homosexual city?
What?
Homa?
No.
There's a lot of homos in Homa.
No.
Okay. So then, episode 1.
Okay, Sarah Jane shows up.
She does.
Her cousin
Anne's
once
gone.
removed shows up. A young boy looks about 15.
Yeah, shows up at the train station.
Shows up at the
before she's
train
expecting
station.
him.
He's home for Christmas break. This is the first time he's met Sarah Jane, because apparently, like I said, he's a cousin once removed. Aunt Lavinia is both their aunts. Aunt Lavinia left a crate for Sarah Jane that she said was delivered a while back. She'd moved there 2 years ago, and it got delivered to her old house in Croydon.
She moved with it.
She brought it with her, and now she brought it out of the attic because Sarah Jane's coming, which is odd because that means that the Mark III K9 happened before the Mark II K9 or something like that. Or the doctor just had the Mark II made, and then recently after that brought the Mark III and sent it out.
Yeah.
So it turns out that in the box is K9. She doesn't know K9.
There's a lot of... Yeah, that's funny. There's a lot of odd stuff going on. So,
Right.
wouldn't it be weird if you found out, all this today, that you have a family member that you've never met before?
That's happened to me several times.
Do you ever have family reunions?
Well, Christmas. You get together at Christmas.
Would you be really upset if you go to a big family reunion and you just see like some awful person, like some politician or celebrity that you just can't stand, and they're at your family reunion, you're like, oh no, I'm related to that person? Would you?
Probably not. You
No?
don't get to decide to whom you're related except for by marriage,
It's not something you brag about though.
It's
It's
like
like
I'm related to Kevin Spacey or somebody.
it's like you go see Wicker Man and you go, yeah, I'm related to Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay. You're going with the remake, yeah.
And then people are like, wow, why would you admit that? It's
Nothing wrong with Nicolas
horribly
Cage.
embarrassing.
Speaking of which, I want to see Renfeld.
Renfeld?
Yeah.
Is that a new movie he's making?
Okay, Nicolas Cage plays Dracula.
Oh, I
looks
have seen. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I saw the trailer.
Looks awesome.
I was going to ask you about that. When does that come out?
This month or next month?
Oh,
Because now it's April, so April and May, I think.
yeah.
But that movie looks
funny.
fantastic.
Did you watch his newest, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent
Yeah, it was really good.
autobiography?
He plays himself. It's not really autobiographical, but he does play himself.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then
Episode. Okay.
So episode 1.
The only episode. All right. So the Sarah Jane shows up, finds out her aunt's left. The boy shows up. She picks him up. What's the boy's name?
Hecate.
No.
Morton Harwood.
No.
K9. Sarah Jane Smith.
No.
George Tracy.
No.
Lavinia. Baker. Peter. Bill Pollock. Brendan. Tobias.
Brendan. Yeah.
Brendan. That's the one.
All right.
Howard Baker.
Okay. So he shows up. Sarah Jane finds out that her aunt had sent in a letter to the local paper about witchcraft,
Yes.
and
As you do.
as you do, and
If you were to send in a letter to the paper, what would it be about?
the continuous destruction of the country.
Mine would be an inflammatory letter about the United States Postal Service.
You send a letter about how bad the postal service is.
USPS is, yeah.
So, if it's that bad, are you sure the letter's going to arrive?
No.
All right.
What did the stamp say to the letter?
What?
Stick with me, we'll go places, baby. So episode 1.
All right. So Sarah Jane
Brendan.
and Brendan get familiar with K9. Brendan seems to know a lot about the bus and all that stuff with K9. Yeah. So he talks to K9 and they're figuring things out. She goes to a
holographic memory.
Right.
Zero bus to the motherboard.
Yeah.
Jet computer terms. Matrix.
Yep.
Nuclear.
Alright.
Self-charging.
Alright.
Of course.
She goes to a party with some local people and meets them, the Bakers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Howard Baker.
Yeah.
And Baker.
Oh, I don't remember the lady's name.
Miss Baker.
Mrs. Baker. So she's talking with them. In the meantime, two people break into the house, the manor.
The guy with the really cool leather jacket.
Yeah, young
and the gardener.
Peter is the leather jacket. And what's his name?
Bill Pollock?
Yeah, I think so. They break in and...
Bill Pollock's the landskeeper, and then the gardener was Tobias?
Yeah. Now, I can't figure out why they're breaking in the first place.
That was my question for you.
It's never explained.
So the reason they break in is because they're after Brendan, because they want to sacrifice him.
No. That comes later.
It's like, why are they after specifically Brendan?
Okay.
Like, why did they break into his house to begin with?
Well,
how do they even know he's there? Like, he just got there.
They don't know. For some weird reason, they're breaking in. We never find out why.
Well, if we're to make assumptions, Peter was previously convicted for breaking in.
For burglary, yeah.
Burglary.
Right. So maybe they're trying to steal some stuff while she's at the party. They don't know the kid's there.
Back then, people didn't lock their doors, right?
Well, they don't seem to in this town.
And this was a nice
in this village,
house.
yeah. Yeah, the back door's always open, the one guy says. Alright, so...
they say don't steal where you eat, right? So why would the dad that works there with Peter break into the estate with which he works at?
I don't know.
Do you think thieves have lower IQ?
Some do, some do not. Your petty thief, maybe, but your high-end guy who embezzles, I doubt it.
I hate people that steal things, in a petty manner.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Like my mail.
That's a federal offense.
Have we talked about the USPS yet?
Yes. All right. What beef do you have with the United States Postal Service?
So many beefs.
Okay.
Like 2 head of cattle at this point.
All right. So
that much beef.
So Brendan is fighting the people who... He hears a noise out in the hallway. He goes there. They attack him. He's kind of fighting them. And then K9 shows up and zaps the younger one, Peter.
Yeah.
And then he says you should purloin him.
Pinion
him.
What does purloin mean?
Oh, it's a letter.
Purloin means to write someone? Or?
No. It's... A purloined letter is, I forget what it means exactly, but
it means it's like, ew, it's to Toby, and you go, it smells like Sarah's perfume. It's purloined. It's like a lover's letter.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Actually, at the moment.
That if I were to guess, that's what it would be.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten a purloined letter?
If I can't remember the definition, I don't know.
Have you ever got one of those lover's letters? Like the perfume?
Everyone gets a lover's letter.
Everyone?
Everyone.
I don't know about everyone.
Have you gotten a lover's letter?
I don't know about that. I'll tell you about my favorite letter I got, right? Was when I was at summer camp, junior high. You meet the girl at summer camp and you walk in and you're like, we're going to get married for sure. Like, it's set in stone. Right, that's your sweetheart that you've known for all of 2 days, right? So
okay.
You have a history, right? It tingles when your hands touch. So I used to wear this ring that was like my dad's ring, and then I gave her the ring because, I was a 12-year-old that didn't know anything, 13. And then she goes home, right? And I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have given her a solid silver family hair. And she mailed it back to me.
Oh, there you go.
So my mom was like, what did you get in the mail?
I've shown you Casino Royale, right? The original one.
The original one?
Yeah, the bad one.
Yeah, I actually didn't finish it, but I think I made it through most of it.
So, I don't know. I mean, what do you do with a man's toupee? Do you bury it as part of the body, or is it just like an article of clothing? Oh, we'll keep it in this box and consider it an heirloom.
Speaking of getting things in the mail.
This should be a half-hour episode.
I ordered some printing paper.
Should be.
I ordered some printing paper, right, for my copier machine. And I was opening it, and on the packaging it had their Instagram, right? I thought, what is a paper company doing with an Instagram? Is it like, are they doing shenanigans like in the office? So I'm like, I have to see this. What is the corporate paper company's Instagram like? So I go on their Instagram, and mostly it's like a reach out customer service kind of thing.
Yeah.
You tag them when you need to complain about something. But I also noticed they had a post up, there was a competition. It said, like and share this post and you could win paper for a year. And I'm thinking to myself, who follows a paper company's Instagram, right? No one. So what are my chances of winning this competition?
Pretty good, actually.
Pretty good, right? That's what I thought. So I entered, right? I liked it and I shared it. My family's like, why is this guy sharing paper companies' social media posts? And I actually won. I won a year's supply of paper. They send it to me in the mail, big box crate, stacks and stacks of paper. And I take it out, it's still warm because it's been sitting in the sun, and you open it, it has that fresh paper smell, and then I'm flipping through the sheets of paper, I'm like, what am I going to do with all this paper? And then I noticed like a purple smudge on like the fifth paper down. I'm like, they sent me like what, crappy paper? Did this made it through quality control? I was upset. I'm like, this is probably some tax write-off, and they just sent me their no good quality control list paper. So I actually complained to like customer service. I said, there's this purple smudge on my paper. Like, how did this get through quality control? And she said, well, sir, we can only guarantee that the paper's 99% jam free. So, episode 1 of Canine Adventures.
You need a refill, right?
Do I?
Cheers. Cheers. Go get a refill.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'll finish the episode like it's gone. I'm gonna advance the plot.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, episode 1. 99% jam free, you get it. The purple smudge was jam on that.
It's horrible.
It's great.
No, it's horrible. I was actually believing you there for a bit.
You thought I won?
Yeah, I actually did.
I don't win anything.
No. Alright. Oh man.
You're not even a paper contest. Speaking of mail.
Yes, we're bringing you quality entertainment. Quotes around quality and entertainment. Separate quotes, just because. Alright, so anyway, the boy Peter tells Brendan that they should leave. Go away, go away, go away, just leave now. Because he knows about this cult of Hecate, which is a coven of this old ancient goddess. And he was hogtied, pinioned, hogtied, and he's like, go away. Anyway, so the father who broke into the house with the son manages to get away, and he saw a canine, and he's like, oh my god, this is the white dog of Hecate. She's come back. She's sent her dog because she's angry at us. So he gets literally incredibly feverish and pent up on the matter and decides that they need to sacrifice Brendan. So he sends Peter to go back to the house to capture Brendan. Peter does this. He goes back to the house and he kidnaps Brendan. So Brendan's kidnapped and he's like in this place where there's just a tunnel, and in there are some cells, and he's in there, and they're going to sacrifice him on the 22nd of December, which is winter solstice. I thought it was 21st, maybe sometimes 22nd, so 22nd, because apparently that is the special time of the year, the biggest day for witches or something. So there hadn't been a human sacrifice since 1891. Now it's 1981. They're going to sacrifice him. Sarah Jane Smith and K-9 figure out that the sacred places are probably where they're going to be, i.e. churches. They go to all the churches, and finally they realize there's a chapel at the manor. They go to the chapel, and literally right at midnight they're about to sacrifice Brendan, and K-9 goes up, zaps the guy. They've got the faces on, the goat masks and all that stuff, and the robes and everything. And then there's somebody else who grabs the knife, is about to sacrifice him, gets zapped. Of course, they're not being killed; they're just being rendered unconscious. And then Sarah Jane saves Brendan, pulls up the masks, and one of the masks was the lady from the post office, one of the faces behind the mask, the lady of the post office. Another one was the partner of her aunt. The two you suspect, which are the Bakers, are actually not part of this coven, although there are several other people that were, and they all run while K-9's shooting and stuff. So the boy's saved, Brendan's saved. They expose the coven. Several people are going to jail, to the Beak, which I think is in front of the magistrate, in front of the judge, on the 28th, right after Christmas. And then Sarah Jane Smith gets a call from her aunt, Lavinia, and they kind of set up the rapport, and they finally get together and talk about it. And that's pretty much the end of it. There's a pretty good set of characters. Sarah Jane Smith, of course, K-9, and Brendan. And of course the aunt might be back, or she might be an American in contact every once in a while. And a couple or three good neighbor people. And it's a shame that it didn't continue. There you go.
Yeah,
More vodka and Sprite.
You want to try some? Oh, hello there.
Sure. Hello. Alright.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for this, the first episode of
Oh, that's your
Doctor Who podcast.
whipped vodka. Yeah.
Pinnacle Whip.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about the White Savages. Episode 1.
You may not need to drink anymore. Okay. No. I was just saying, I just wrapped up the episode. It's fairly straightforward.
Bye-bye.
Okay. No,
Thank you for joining.
I was just saying, I think that it's a shame that this didn't continue. It had a lot of potential. It had a pretty good cast of characters. And it would have been, very Midsummer Murderers-ish.
Midsommar?
No, not that movie. Midsummer Murderers. It's a British show. But it would have been a lot like that, and it could at least have had, like 6 episodes a season or something for a while, but it just didn't continue.
Would you prefer a continuation of Canine and Company over the Sarah Jane Adventures?
Well, I wish it would have happened and then the Sarah Jane Adventures.
If you had to choose one, which show?
Oh no, Sarah Jane Adventures is better.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're not too broken up about this.
No. But it's the very first and only 20th century attempt at the spin-off. Mm-hmm. And good cast of characters. It just wasn't picked up.
You said this originally aired in like Australia?
No.
Which one am I thinking? The guy that owned
K9 was like Australian.
Are we going to watch that one too?
We will eventually, and it's going to be under Apocrypha.
Oh, it's not canon.
No, it's not canon.
Why is it not canon?
Because the BBC didn't produce it, and they didn't hire somebody to produce it. It was simply done by the guy who owns the rights to K9.
So K9 is not canon?
No, K9's canon. K9, the character is canon. K9, the show is not canon.
Where do you draw the line of canonicity within a single IP? If the same person owned it the whole time...
Okay, so...
Be a branch.
All right, Terry Nation made the Daleks, right? He owns the rights to the Daleks.
Mm-hmm.
His estate has to lease to the BBC the Daleks.
Has to.
Well, they do it for money.
Mm-hmm.
He did the movies, the ones we watched, which were part of Apocrypha, because it's Doctor Who, not the Doctor. It's a doctor named Who, but it's not the Doctor. And so that's not canon because BBC didn't produce it, and it's not the official.
Do you think that would hold up today? Like, say, George Lucas owns everything in Star Wars, except his best friend Terry wrote the character Yoda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he makes a TV series called Yoda and the Saber Fighters.
Mandalorian?
You think George would sue his friend Terry?
Depends on the contract they have.
So if the BBC sued Terry Nation over those Doctor Who movies as copyright infringement of the Doctor, do you think they would have won or lost?
No idea. I have no clue about British law overall, except insofar as it is the common law basis for our laws. All right. In 49 of the United States, in every state except Louisiana, British common law is the basis of the law. In Louisiana, it's Napoleonic law. Right. And that's why lawyers have to do completely different study for Louisiana.
Yeah. Is it more lenient or less lenient?
No earthly idea.
If I were to murder someone, would I hypothetically want to murder that person in Louisiana or outside of Louisiana?
Depends on who's governor at the time. All right. Okay. Did you have any questions about this or comments about this?
80s
spin-off
intro.
Oh my gosh!
Came out in 1981.
Yeah, so 80s intro.
They say 778 instead of 778.
Mm-hmm.
It was silly. Reading you. It was a 1 hour special. Why was it 1 hour long?
50 minutes.
Were they planning on making every episode 1 hour or just the pilot?
We don't know.
Like a Game of Thrones, kind of like every episode is an hour long. Or Breaking Bad.
Well, remember, the modern Doctor Who episodes are 45 minutes.
So this show was before its time?
This show was out of its time.
Do you think it failed because it was an hour long and it failed to capture an hour's long worth of
I think it was the intro.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Pinioned.
Yeah, we just talked about that. Yeah.
Hogtied.
Yeah.
A
K9.
So, pinion is has two definitions. It also is a feathered flight pinion of a bird.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know that? Oh, you looked it up during the show.
No, I just know that.
Really?
No, I didn't know
No.
that.
You looked up in the show.
I didn't even know what pinion meant.
Yeah. You don't have your phone. I secured it.
It went by fast. Oh, that's where my phone went. I was getting a refill.
Left it here, and I secured it.
I went to get a refill. I'm like, did I plug my phone in? It went by fast.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Hecate. Hecate.
Okay.
A theological discussion.
All right. Oddly enough, today I read Theogony by Herod.
Herod? King Herod?
No, wait. Herod. Anyway, I read Theogony today. Literally today. Sitting over at Twin Peaks reading Theogony and having a drink.
Is that a... I don't know what that book is.
Okay. Theo, God.
Uh-huh.
Ogeny, origins of. It's literally an encapsulation, an explanation of the origins of all the gods.
Talking about Roman
ancient
gods?
Greek gods.
Oh, Greek.
Ancient Greek gods. He was Greek. So,
Do you prefer a Greek mythology or Roman?
it's the same thing. It's just different names.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Hecate was mentioned in the Theogony. So this episode uses an ancient Greek god as the basis, or pardon me, goddess as the basis.
And
And I found that amusing.
it was amusing. And you made a comment, yeah, I guess it is a vengeful god because it demanded human sacrifice.
Well, yeah, it was like, you don't kill this person, Peter, you're gonna die in fire forever. Oh, and we had one death. One policeman died.
Well, I wrote...
Heart attack.
I actually made death count.
One.
But that was like a off-screen death? Or it was off-screen?
It was off screen. Well, he had a shock
After.
attack
Yeah.
and passed out on a road while he was riding his bicycle because he thought he saw the white dog,
Yes.
but it turned out to be a goat.
Yeah.
And then he later died at the hospital.
So, Hecate, this was... There's no supernatural realness to this episode. It's all theoretical.
Correct.
Unlike how in other episodes we deal with like other the daemons, and they end up being an alien species, so it justifies the,
Right.
the fantasy with the.
No, it's
sci-fi
like
nature.
every once in a while you get something that is fantastical and not sci-fi. Mostly it's all science fiction in Doctor Who. But occasionally, every once in a while, there's a fantastical element that is not explained by science fiction. And I enjoy that.
Why is it that they wanted Brendan as their human sacrifice?
Because he's the one that saw Peter.
Oh, that's convenient.
But it makes sense. You gotta kill this kid. He can spot you. He can finger you. Giggity. But anyway, yeah.
Did you find it strange when they put him in a dress, and before they sacrificed him, they kissed his feet?
No.
Is
The
that kinda
kissing
like
of the feet was Peter. When they added Peter to the coven, because the cop had died, so they needed a 13th member for the coven.
That was their anointment.
Yeah, their anointment was the kissing of the feet after the sprinkling of the water.
Oh, they didn't kiss Brendan's feet.
No, it was Peter's feet.
Is that
The washing or kissing of feet is a sign of utmost respect and reverence in
Very
most ancient cultures.
Roman?
Well, yeah, I mean, when Jesus washed the feet of his servants, that was a sign of respect and adoration.
This was a coven.
Yes.
Would you join a coven today?
No.
Are there modern day covens?
Yes.
What name? Can you name any? Are there famous? What I know.
Okay. There are people who still call themselves witches.
Yeah.
And some are more serious than others. Some people call
Yes.
themselves witches, but they're just being goth. Other people call themselves witches and really, really believe in this stuff. And then there are people who belong to what Christians would call paganistic groups, worship of Thor or the worship of nature or what have you, you know?
You know someone that deitizes Thor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name names, but yeah.
Would you be friends with a witch? If I were a witch, would you be friends? Would you worry that I would curse you? If, we got drunk and I was upset at you?
Well,
And
no,
then we wake up the next, after, Monday, the weekend after, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry I got really drunk. I may have cursed you and your prodigy
Well,
for
not
200 years, but, what are you gonna
seventh
do?
generation.
Yeah.
No, not as long as you don't make a voodoo doll. We're good.
You just don't like the pins.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I would, just the same way that Christ was friends with prostitutes,
Mm-hmm.
I would be friends with anybody, especially if I thought in the long run
But they're
that
not
I could
supposed
be.
to know that you're paying me to. I'm a prostitute.
You're not a prostitute.
That's off camera.
You're not. A
You
prostitute.
said best theme ever. K9. Merry Christmas. Even though it was filmed in February 28th, it was a Christmas episode.
December 28th. It was aired in December.
The second? Oh, because it's
12.
British. It's the 28th of this.
December 12, 2881.
Does it bother you how Americans put little, medium, big, or British people that put little, medium, big? Day, month, year, month, day, year. Is that
We
out of
do
order?
month, day, year. They
Yeah.
do day, month, year. And
Do we do it wrong?
You said little, medium, big for both us and British.
Big, little, medium.
No, you said little, medium, big.
Medium, little, big.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Little, big is Russian.
You're right.
If
Well,
we're-
no. They're originally Russian. They live in LA now.
Do they?
They left St.
great.
Petersburg because of the war against Ukraine that Russia's doing. They live in LA and they're on tour this summer. And
Are you gonna go see them? Are they coming nearby?
I was not going to be able to, but my main vacation plans got canceled today. I have to redo my vacation. It's theoretically possible I can make that work with their tour to actually go see them.
So I was watching one of their music videos,
Which one?
and it was filmed live. I can't remember the name of it, but it was the guy in the blue jumpsuit who was really big and he was really flexible and dancing. And
Uno.
I was watching the Uno music video. I'm like, I bet these guys would be so much fun watching them live.
That guy's not actually part of the band,
Right,
but he's in 3 of their different videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's in Uno. I like to eat tacos. Tacos. And something sexy or something. But he's in 3 of their videos that all circle back into each other.
Yeah. Oh, those are all related.
Yeah, they form a continuous story that goes back into itself.
Oh, okay. I bet they'd be so entertaining to see live.
I don't know.
My favorite is De La Boca and La Coca.
Oh yeah.
The cologne commercial one.
La Loca. Alright. Thank you so much for joining us for this, the first Drunk Doctor Who spin-off episode.
And we're sorry. You see that timestamp?
Yeah, we originally weren't going to do
Was
the
this like an
spin-offs
hour long?
as separate episodes, which is why we covered half of the Sarah Jane episode, K9 Company episode.
Did we
Previous,
really?
we did during one, but
I think we barely covered half just now.
But we decided we needed to do that and do the separate line for them because there are a bunch more coming up later.
Did we decide that?
We did.
Or did you decide that?
No, we sat down one day and we were talking and we went through things and we decided it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you were like, yeah, that sounds great, awesome. I'm like, okay.
Can I make a decision?
What decision do you want to make?
I don't know. Just
like a coupon for one later down the line.
Alright. Next week.
I get one decision to.
Alright, okay. 2 things to note. One, alright, the main group is right there on the Twin Dilemma. Stop that.
You have to turn upside down so you can
No,
remember.
stop that. It's what's
That's-
pulled out.
How
We
big-
are right there on Castrovalva.
Right here.
Yeah, stop that. Stop it. Alright.
Castrovalva?
Castrovalva.
That's a weird name.
Yes, it is.
Does it remind you of vulva or uvula?
Yeah. Alright.
Do you have a favorite word?
Flibberty gibbet.
Oh, that's a good one. He's very British. I've always been a fan of Armageddon.
Okay.
Not the definition, just the sound. Really rolls off the tongue.
That's why I like Flibberty gibbet.
I had like a D&D wizard named Armageddon or something.
Anyway. Next week, we're actually going to start the 5th Doctor. Before the main group starts the 6th Doctor. So we're catching up, so only 3 seasons behind. The other thing to note
right on
is
board.
that I have the 2nd season. It came out on Tuesday on Blu-ray.
Hey. So now we're gonna have to rewatch it.
All
right?
that stuff is either available. No, we don't have to rewatch it. All that stuff is available or animated, except the Crusade has 2 missing episodes.
And they haven't animated that.
Correct, but that was announced and scheduled for release between the old animation deal and the new animation deal.
What if?
So hopefully they go back later and animate it and re-release a disc to put in the Blu-ray.
Hopefully. But what if
Hopefully.
What if they don't?
I hope they release everything, all the missing episodes.
But
eventually
we should plan
animated.
for the worst, right?
No.
Like they did when they canceled the show and they did the third party.
I don't want to go through the
Stuff.
wilderness of years again. No.
What if we animate it? If I animate the 2 Crusader episodes, would you do voice acting for it? Would you voice the Doctor?
Ian Levine actually animated the cutaway Dalek episode that prefaced the Dalek's master plan.
And that made it into the official.
No,
release?
well, no.
Oh, that was part of the reconstruction.
No, he was a guy who found a bunch of the episodes back in the day, and then he and a group of people animated that episode as a preface to animating the Dalek's master plan, Journey to the Unknown. But it's not been accepted as official. Then the BBC will eventually, hopefully, animate it proper. But that was a third-party attempt at doing that.
What about stop motion? Would you voice the stop motion character in a stop motion film that I'm making
Okay,
named Hatter?
didn't you see that episode of Doctor Who that was done like that with that?
It was stop motion?
No, it was motion capture.
Oh, like a
Web of
Steadicam?
Fear.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
the
I
motion
remember
capture?
that.
It was so
That
bad.
handy
You're
cam.
like, it's barely better than the.
The animation.
It was barely better
reconstruction,
than the
yeah.
reconstruction. Yeah. All right. Anyway, there's no dates as of yet for anything coming out for Doctor Who.
No news is
No
good
news except for the release of season 2. And The Simpsons continue to catch up to Doctor Who in number of episodes because The Simpsons was renewed for 2 more seasons.
2 more.
Yeah.
That puts them way ahead.
35 and 36.
Because they have a lot more episodes per season, don't they?
Well,
So they did.
in the 60s, Doctor Who had more episodes.
Right.
Once you get to like the 80s, it had about the same. Once you get to modern stuff, it has a lot less.
Oh, yeah.
So Simpsons continue to catch up to Doctor Who slowly but surely on the number of episodes.
But it's still Doctor Who in the lead.
At the moment, yeah, like 870 episodes compared to 720.
Do you think we're going to get to that many episodes? 720 of the podcast, 1 for each series.
No, because we're going serials at a time as opposed to.
But we
episodes
also
at a
have like
time.
Apocrypha and spin-off and Heroes and Villains.
In theory, maybe eventually.
Maybe.
Probably not. But we
Okay.
do have the news of UNIT being a new spin-off for Doctor Who, which we will eventually get to on this line for spin-offs after, 10 more years.
That seems like a hard promise to make.
Well, I mean, we
Are
have
we still going to be doing this?
we have
years?
Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures and Class to get through on this,
Mhm.
as aside from the main stuff.
Mhm.
And the Apocrypha and the other stuff, and then eventually we'll get to UNIT and whatever else comes down the pipe.
So if you were to estimate how many episodes of the podcast we're going to have, how many videos on YouTube?
400?
400? All right.
That's an estimation, a guesstimation.
I'll quit after 400, so I'll make the
Maybe
prediction.
500.
I'll quit.
Maybe 500, yeah, 500. Because we're currently on serial / story like 300 and something with Doctor Who,
Yeah,
and then
not even half.
all the spin-offs and the Apocrypha and stuff like that.
We're like 1/5 of the way through our content.
Much more content left to go.
You're welcome. And we're sorry. Thank you for joining us once again.
See you next week when we start the 5th Doctor and we finally change the picture. Hey, up there, 4th Doctor?
Yeah, that
We're
guy.
going to change that.
That
Finally.
that
Bye-bye. Wait, what do you...
that guy.
Stop that.
That picture right
You're
there.
nauseating our 2 people audience.
Ah!